And I need my degrees of freedom for my denominator, which is part of the bottom part of the denominator of the ratio. You often see the F test or F scores written as this way. F2, where that 2 is the degrees of freedom of the numerator. 12, and that's the degrees of the denominator. Degrees of freedom of the denominator is equal to the actual F ratio, which is 22.59. And also you'll see a little comma, P is less than 0.05, and that's your level of significance. So now, we take this and we look it up in a table. We have degrees of freedom of the numerator on the top, and degrees of freedom of the denominator on the vertical axis right there. So I take the 2, so that 2 right there.
وعندي مجموعتين فقط لا أقارن بيناتهم. أقدر أستخدم التست إذا كان N كبير عن قصد من 30 أو أكثر، وإذا كان صغير أستخدم التي تست. هنا إيش دا أقارن المين مالتهم، يعني أشوف المين مال هيموغلوبين ليفل، أو المين مال البلد جلوكوز، أو المين مال درجة الطالب بالامتحان وهكذا. فهنا أستخدم Z-test أو T-test، أو أقدر أستخدم correlation ترابط اللي راح ناخده بالمحاضرة القادمة. إذا كان عندنا أكثر من مجموعتين، يعني أنا عندي أقارن صف ثالث وصف رابع، أستخدم T-test Z-test. إذا أريد أقارن مراحل الستة الكلية، أشوف أي معدل أعلى بالكلية كلها 6 مراحل.
The next video in this series is on how to do the same calculations using Microsoft Excel. And please share the knowledge, share the love, Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. Like us, comments, and questions below. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm always posting new stuff. You want to pass stats, don't you? Tell your friends.
أو ناجح راسب إكمال أو غيره، هذه كلها ما أقدر أستخدم تي تيست ولا زد تيست ولا اف تيست، أستخدم كاي سكوير. في حالة المجموعة صغيرة أو المجموعة كبيرة فقط أستخدم كاي سكوير. هنا أنا دا أقارن proportions، مو أقارن مين. المين زد أو تي أو اف تيست. هنا ما أقدر أسوي correlation. correlation فقط.
Hello, welcome back to Mastering Statistics, Volume 7. What we're going to do now is start talking about the concept of ANOVA. This is a topic that is in the back of your statistics book. It's not difficult to understand, but there's a lot of components to it. So I want to give you a game plan in the first lesson, give you an overview of what this is. So I'm going to map it out for you. Basically, in this lesson, I'm going to give you an overview. I'm going to describe what ANOVA is in the big picture, right? And then over the next probably 3 or 4 lessons, we're going to calculate the ANOVA analysis by hand. It's not difficult, it's just tedious. So I'm going to show you how to do it so you can really understand all of the formulas that go into it. Because ultimately you're probably going to use a computer program to do most of the problems for real life like Excel, so Microsoft Excel. So what I'm going to do is teach you the equations and formulas by hand, so that you'll understand what the computer's doing. And then, you know, most books just tell you to use the computer, so I could dump you in and just teach you Excel right now, press a button, answer, but you won't know what's happening or why it's happening. So let's just jump into it now. You need to understand the concept of what's happening. The big picture is the analysis of variance. We'll talk about why it does in a second. Basically, we're going to be comparing population means 3 or more population. So I have a bunch of things I need to write down. If you just kind of stick with me, even though you have to invest a little time up front, you will come out with a really great understanding about what this thing is actually about. So we need to compare, and you'll see what I mean by compare. Just 3 or more.
إذا كانت لا ممكن زيادة ممكن نقصان نقول توتيال. هذه النمط المفهوم اللي قلنا النسب وهذه قلنا الأرقام لازم تكون تعرفوها 68% 95%
Even before that, we did population means, hypothesis testing with population means, but we were always comparing two means, right? Now we're doing 3 or more means, and we're all going to do it with one test. So in the past, we might have done see a population A or population B, which means larger. We write the null hypothesis, the alternate hypothesis, and we have the data, or maybe see if they're equal or not. Now we're going to be doing a test, a very specific kind of test with 3 or more population means. So let me just write down an example of a null and alternate hypothesis. Basically, the null hypothesis for these things are always going to look the same. Population mean number 1 is equal to population number 2 is equal to ... because I'm not sure how many populations you're going to have in your actual problem. It's going to be 3 or more. But anyway, it's either going to be equal to the kth population. So there's k populations. And don't worry, I'm going to nail this down with this very specific example so you understand what I'm talking about. But basically, the null hypothesis is that all 3, in the case of 3 or more, however many you have, they're all going to be equal to each other. When you see notation like this is equal to this is equal to ... equal to the kth population. That means if I have 3 population means, they're all equal. If I have 16 population means, they're all equal. If I have 7 population means, they're all equal. That's the null hypothesis that all of them equal. So if that's the null hypothesis, then the alternate or the test hypothesis basically means, the way that you write this down is usually that at least, and I'm going to write this down very specifically, at least one of these means that study differs from the others.
The population from which the sample are drawn is normally distributed.
Okay, so basically every single ANOVA, at least of the type we're doing here, in this
sample are
that
randomly
you're going to
selected.
do, is going to have the same null hypothesis and the same alternate hypothesis. So you don't really have to do that much thinking in terms of how to set up the null and alternate. The null hypothesis is always the same thing. It means all of these means are the same. And the alternate hypothesis is the test or the claim that the researcher thinks might be true, is that at least one of these means differs from the others. So what we're going to end up doing is you might be thinking, well, this thing is called analysis of variance. Why are we comparing population means, right? That was my first question. The bottom line is when we get into the math, we're going to find out that we're going to use the concept of variance in order to study the means. So even though we're actually studying means, the technique is called analysis of variance because we're going to be testing how these means vary with regard to the other means. How does mean number 1 vary or differ from all the other means? How does mean number 2 vary or differ?
indirect عكسية. يعني هنا نشوف إذا ناخذ الكريتيكال فاليو 0.1 و 0.10 هذه من الزيد الفا والإنكريز بالعكس. قلنا شو وقت نستخدم التي وش وقت الزد، وضربنا مثال يعتمد على حجم السامبل 30 فأكثر، ولازم أيضا population sigma or standard deviation is not known. واضح هاي is not known. إذا معروف أستخدم الزد تيست حتى لو كان العدد أقل من 30. وأكو هذا مثال سهل واضح. معدل طلبة الكلية هو 75. إيش نستخدم إذا أخذنا 40 طالب وشفنا معدلهم 82؟ هنا معدل طلبة الكلية معروف والعدد أكثر من 40 راح نستخدم زد تيست. إذا أخذنا 10 إذا المعدل طلبة الكلية معروف أيضا نستخدم زد. وتي ليش؟ لأنه السيجما معروف. إذا كان السيجما غير معروف والعدد أقل من 30 نستخدم التي تيست.
We're going to be using the concept of variance to see how each of these means varies is different from the others. Now, as we go through these calculations here that we're going to do, I want you to keep one example in your mind. I know I just mentioned studying people's IQs, but I have a secondary example in your brain. Let's say that let's say that we're a school administrator, and we have, lots of different schools, and we have 3 schools in my city, and I want to make sure all the kids are learning the same stuff, so I'm going to be testing basically. And so I have 3 different schools, school number 1, school number 2, and school number 3, and I want to basically make sure that those test scores are coming out of that school, that the kids are learning the same things in math class, let's say. So as we go through a lot of these calculations, I want you to keep that in your mind, so I'm going to draw a couple of pictures here to hopefully make it a little bit easier. So the little cloud that I'm drawing here is the population. This is all the kids in school number 1. So I'm going to call it school number 1. So this is everybody in school number 1. So school number 1 might have 2,000 kids. Right? It's a population. The cloud is the population. Right? Now, also I have school number 2 because I have lots of different schools. So I'll call this school number 2.
تطلع ناقص 2 نروح للجدول نشوف ناقص 2 وين طلعت
keep in mind
2
that analysis of variance is used when you're studying 3 or more populations. So this is a population of different children. This is a population of totally different children. But I could be studying all the schools in the country and have a bunch of populations, 10 or 20 or 50 or 1,000 populations, whatever. But now I'm just going to keep it simple. And we're going to do an example with 3 populations to make sure you understand the concepts. Now what we want to do is we want to figure out if these kids are learning the same thing in math class. So if we could test every kid in every one of these schools, if we could test every kid in school number 1, for instance, then we would get an average of their math test score from school number 1. Now this is a population, this is maybe 2,000 or 3,000 kids, right? So whenever I come over here and say from this population, from everybody, if we were to somehow know everyone's test score, right, then we would calculate a population mean. So the symbol U is the symbol for population. But we don't have money to test all 2,000 kids in school 1 and all 2,000 kids in school 2 and all 2,000 kids in school 3. I forgot to put the number 3. Right? So we really never really know what the population mean is. Because even if you say, well, you should test all the kids, it's really hard to test everybody. Maybe I'm studying everybody. Maybe it's impractical to really give a test to everybody. Right? But anyway, if I somehow knew everyone's score, I would get the population mean for the math score. School number 2, I would get a similar population mean as the average of their math exams. And then I would get a population mean of school number 3's test scores for math class. Now I'm a school administrator, so I want to make sure that everybody's learning the same stuff. So my null hypothesis, my kind of like my accepted hypothesis, is that mean number 1 is equal to mean number 2 is equal to mean number 3. If I had more schools, there would be more populations, and I would say that they were all equal, because that's what I really want. So I want to say that my null hypothesis is saying that these populations are all the same. That's what the null hypothesis is. And the alternate test hypothesis
اللي حسبناه بالمعادلة هنا طلع 257
is that at least one of these guys is different from the others, and that's really important to me, because if school number 2 has poor test scores, I want to know about it, right? Or if any of these schools have different test scores. But anyway, as we said, you cannot test everybody, so because it's 10,000 kids. So what I really do is I go inside of school 1,
sum of square between groups حسب طلع 203.
We've been doing this stuff a lot. I
قسمنا على الآن
10
يساوي degrees of freedom
So let's say I don't have a lot of money,
2
so I only sample 10
Well,
kids.
some
I would
of the
like to know
within the
the
groups
actual population mean of the math test scores, but I don't have enough money or enough time to do that. So really, I just take 10 of the kids, representative sample from that
between
population, I
groups
put them in a room, and I
على
give them
degrees
tests,
of
and I
freedom
take all
مالته
10 scores,
sum of square within
and
the
I average
groups
those
على
10
degrees of
scores. What
freedom
do I get?
فنخلي
From
هذا
this
على هذا
calculation
تطلع 22
is something
قيمة
called
F هي
the sample mean
أيضا نروح
of
للجدول
population 1.
ونشوف
That's the symbol.
أنه
When
هنا
you
راح
see
يصير
X
عندي
bar,
مجموعتين
that means a sample.
البسط
I've taken
هو
a fixed
هذا
number of people from the
البسط
population.
هو
I've
هذه
measured something, whether
والمقام
it's
هو
IQ,
هذا
test scores,
يعني هاي
height, weight, whatever.
degrees
Anyway,
between
that's the
groups
sample,
وهاي within the
which
groups
is not true.
أقاطعهم
Right, the
تطلع لي
population is really what I
الأف
want to know, but I can make
حسب
some inferences
أنا عندي
with a sample.
مجموعتين
So it's
12 مجموعة
sufficient.
فإذا
sufficiently large. 10
3.8
kids is
قد
probably
طلعت
not big
عندي
enough, but anyway.
22 كسر
That's what
إذا
I do. And
significant.
then I take that and I calculate a
معناتها
sample
هنا
mean, x bar,
الأف
number
distribution
one.
هو
Then I go
يكون
over
مع
here and I give the
skewed to
test
the right.
again.
فهنا
a
بالتيل
sample.
22 فإذا this difference is
I'll
significant.
put 10 kids here.
هذا الأنوفا
But
test
you'll see
أو
that when we
F
do
test.
the ANOVA, it doesn't have to be the same number of kids. I
ننتقل
can
إلى
only
الكاي
test
سكوير.
maybe 20 kids here or 7
الكاي
kids
سكوير
here,
تيست
whatever.
كنا شو وقت
It all takes
نستخدمه
everything into account.
إذا
And then from that, I get X
non-continuous
bar number 2.
categorical
That's the
يعني
sample
ناجح
number
راسي
2. And then I do the
أو
same thing over here.
أحمر أسود وهكذا.
Sample. Again, I'll
هنا
put 10 kids. but
هذا توزيع الكاي سكوير
it
أيضا
can be a
تقريبا
different number.
يشبه الأف
And then from that, I
distribution
get
هو
X bar number 3. That's the sample. So the idea here is
مثل ما ذكرت
analysis
لكم
of
بالمثال
variance is going to
categorical
be
نستخدم
the
كاي
test that
سكوير.
I'm going to be basically
إذا
applying to the sample data that I got.
ما
The
نقدر
sample, that means
فقط
the
الكورليشن
average, which is
نستخدمها
from a
عند
subset of the
quantitative
population, not everybody, a subset. And the analysis of variance test is going to take into account what these
نقدر
values
نستخدم
are, x bar 1,
الكاي
x
سكوير
bar 2,
ثلاث
x bar 3, the average
تقريبا مشابهة
sample data.
للتي تيست
It's also going to
بالنادي
take into account how many
test of
samples I did
independence
in
and
each
homogeneity.
population because that's going to affect
يعني
things. And then
مجموعة
we'll see
اللي
exactly what we
بنشوفها
do in a little bit. And
ترابط
then it's going to
مثلاً
spit out an answer with a
طلاب
certain level of
ذكور وإناث.
significance to tell you
اكو
if this data
ربط
that
بين
we
الجنس والنجاح.
if you can infer from it
هنا
that the
مو
population
معدل
means, which
نجاح
are different, the
ناجح رأس.
population means are everybody are the same,
والطريق
or if
والثانية
they're
أنه
different,
أريد أشوف
whether
goodness
they're
of
all
fit.
null, or if one of them is
يعني
different.
هل معدل
Now I want to point out to
على
you,
سبيل
the
هلا
first thing you might be
هنا
thinking is,
نسبة
well, why don't we just
معدل
do
نسبة
regular old hypothesis testing from a long time ago?
الذكور
Like, forget about school number 3.
كلية
Let's say
الطب
school number 3 isn't here. We
نفس
can
نسبة
have school number
الذكور
1, school number 2.
كلية الإدارة
We could do
والاقتصاد.
a hypothesis
فهذا
test
نسميه
to see if
هنا
these means,
test of
x bar 1 and x
independence.
bar 2,
هنا goodness of fit
or
إلى
if these
المجتمع كله.
population means are equal or not
أو
based
multinomial
on the sample data.
experiment
We've done hypothesis
نرجع
testing
فيها.
like that. So we could do that, but then you have the third school.
أكو
So then if you
نسميه
wanted to fold in the
جدول
information from the
التقاطع
third school, then you have to
لcontingency
compare
table.
these two means, and then you
يعني
have to compare
two
school number
variable
1 and
مثلا
school number
الجنس
3 means.
والنجاح.
And then you'd have to compare school
الجنس
number
سوء
2 and school
التنظيم
number 3
وهكذا.
means. And then you'd have a bunch of different combinations because you're doing, when you do the regular hypothesis testing, you're only doing two
طبعا هنا أكو
populations
عندي
at a
أيضا
time.
القراءات لازم
So
تطبق
with,
الله
even with only 3 of these guys on the
لازم
table, here,
عندهم
it's a bunch of
نسبة
different
electric.
combinations, and you also introduce a lot of
The-
errors when you
the
start doing a bunch of different
null
testing.
hypothesis is the statement that the
sequential.
row and column
Then what
are
happens if you have 10
independent.
populations? You got a ton of
يعني عندي
combinations
جدول
to do, and it gets very cumbersome
نسبة
really
نجاح
fast. So
الذكور نسبة نجاح
ANOVA
الإناث.
will let you do 3
فإذا
or more
null hypothesis
population
أنه هو ماكو
comparisons
ترابط.
at once.
إذا
And
طلع
you can
significant
draw some
معناته أكو
conclusions from
ترابط.
that.
هنا مهم
Now,
كل جدول
I have a
لازم
few notes on my paper. I'm not going to write them all down, but I want to make sure you
compilation
understand
على
them. I'm
الأقل
going to
10
say them
مرات
all to make
أكثر
sure that I've said them at least
من
once.
السابق.
First thing is, we do not know what the population means
شلون
are.
نحسب
If we
الكاي
knew what the
سكوير؟
population means are, which in this case is
طبعا
the
نفس
math scores
الخطوات اللي
of the
نستخدمها
schools, then we wouldn't have to do any testing. We would know if they would be equal because we would have all the
formulate
information.
analysis
We
plan
don't know
analyze
that because there's too
data
many kids to
or
test in a
interpret
reasonable
results.
amount of time. Or if you're studying entire continents or something, it's just
Test
impractical
of
to do.
independence.
So what we do is we
لازم
sample a
categorical
subset of
variable.
the kids, we calculate a sample mean, and we study these guys, and
أول
with
شيء
a
نخلي
level of
النظرية
significance we draw it in.
الفرضية الصفرية.
So what I want to
نحسب
do
الكاي سكوير من
is
الجدول.
give you a couple of
نجي
cases of what might come out
جداول
of such a test. This is kind of
الرئيسية
like
نشوف
back of the envelope,
إيش
just
قد
to kind of get you to understand it. We're not doing the actual ANOVA testing. But basically, there's a couple of cases that you
chi
can
square
consider that are really
tabulated chi
instructive. So
square.
let's look at case 1.
هنا
And
أكو
they're
عندي
kind of
degrees
common
of
sense
freedom.
too, honestly. What if
بالفي
you look at case
وبالذات
1
كلش سهلة
and
بس
say
نقول n minus 1.
what could
هنا
possibly
degrees
happen
of
if
freedom
the
يساوي
following
rows
happens?
minus 1.
Okay,
في
so over here we
columns
do the
minus 1.
testing. Here's
يعني
the
إذا
score of
عندي 2 في
100.
2
Here's
راح
the
يصير
score
2
of
ناقص
80.
1.
Let's say right there.
في 2
And then
ناقص
we
1
get
إذا
the
degrees
sample
of
means
freedom
of
1.
each one of
فالجدول
those
اللي
3
بيه
schools where we sampled
2
and tested 10
variables
kids in each one of
degrees
those.
freedom مالته
So let's
1.
say the first school comes up
If
with
calculated chi
a
square
score
is
of
more than
x bar number
tabulated,
1,
there is
81. That's the
a
score that they got from
significant
school
difference.
number 2.
معناته
And then let's say, I'm
H0
sorry, school number
is
1.
rejected.
Let's say school number 2 is really close to it.
شلون نحسب الكاي
X
سكوير؟
bar
الكاي
number 2
سكوير لكل خلية
79.
يساوي observe
And then let's say
minus
this one's a little bit
expected
higher. I know I'm not drawing
square
this exactly
على
right,
expected.
but you get the idea.
هذا
X
نسميه
bar
كاي
number
سكوير.
3.
كاي هو حرف لاتيني اكس. طبعا هذه العملية نكررها لكل خلية من الجدول. شلون نحسب الاكسبكتد؟ الاكسبكتد يساوي رو توتال في الكولوم توتال على الجراند توتال. هسه نشوف بالمثال. طبعا نفس العملية إذا كان بالتيل rejected، إذا كان بالconfidence interval fail to reject. هذا جدول طلاب ناجحين
80.5. So you can see that this guy, we'll call this school number 1, this is school number 2, this is school number 3. Now again, this is not the population mean, this is just from the 10 kids in the school that we gave the test to. So basically, the average of each of these test scores are pretty close, 81, 79, 85 to me. So if you remember back, the null hypothesis is basically that the mean from school number 1 of all students is equal to the mean of school number 2 of all students is equal to the mean of school number 3 of all students. That's the null hypothesis. The alternate hypothesis is one mean different. So basically that's my test. Now, of course, it all depends on the level of significance, it depends on a lot of different things, but to me, since this number is pretty close to this number, is pretty close to this number, this is like, so in this case, we would fail to reject the null hypothesis. And that's all you're going to end up doing. You're going to circle that in your paper one way or another, just like any other hypothesis test. Either you have a null hypothesis and you reject it, or you have a null hypothesis and you fail to reject it. In this case, we fail to reject it because our calculations show, now we haven't done the actual test, but they look pretty darn close. Now let's just take another example and say, well, what would happen in the following case? Number 2. And again, I'm just doing this back here. So this is 100, this is 80. All right, so let's say what the difference is. Flip the page here. Let's say school number 1 again comes in strong here with an X bar number 1 of 81. Let's say school number 2 is weak, comes in X bar number 2 29.5. Really low average test score. School number 3
نفس الفكرة مالتي والزد تيست إذا كانت بالتيرم rejected in the confidence interval no rejection.
Right? And again, this is school 1, school 2, school 3. Now, what do you think? Just basically just back of the envelope. Well, you can say, well, school number 1, school number 3 look to be like that's reasonable. School number 2 bombed it, right? So this is a drastic example. Of course, I didn't even draw the bar graph correct. It should be
female سووا اعتراض قالوا ليش
65.
أي شيء تعطيه فقط
It's different from the other ones. So the null hypothesis in this case, same null hypothesis as before. Mean number 1,
significant between male and female.
Mean number 3. And the alternate
نحسب الكاي سكوير
is at least
طلعت 11.11 إذن هذه صاحبة بالتيل أكيد إنه 3 point something. فإذن
obviously to me it looks like one of these means, in this case, is different. So in this particular case, this is unlikely.
الكاي سكوير نستخدمه حتى لو كان
And so at the proper level of significance for your problem, you could reject
وهنا 4
the null hypothesis. I'm just doing this for you to show you that the A-node testing is going to give you the same answer as any hypothesis test. Either you're going to reject the null hypothesis or you're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. Now, there's a couple of notes that I need to make sure you understand before I close this section out. First thing is we study the population means of the students in school by sampling, by taking a subset of them and calculating things and drawing conclusions based on that, right? We're going to end up using variance, the concept of variance, to see how these means differ from one another. And it's impossible to explain that to you without showing some math, so we'll have to do that in the next couple of lessons. But we're going to use variance. That's why it's called analysis of variance. But don't forget, we're studying the means, how the means are different, okay? The test here, the ANOVA test, tells us if one or more of these means are different, but it does not tell us which one is different. Now, in this case, it's obvious this one's the different one, right? But it's not going to be so obvious if you have 10 populations and one of them differs by just a little bit statistically. You're not going to be able to eyeball it. I've drastically made this one different so that you can easily see what I'm talking about. But the test either tells you if they're all the same or if one of them is different. It doesn't tell you mean number 1 is different or mean number 2 is different. That's beyond the scope of ANOVA. You'll have to do additional testing and study to figure that out. So that's an important thing. The other thing I want to allude to, I'm not going to get into it too much here, but basically the validity of the test kind of depends on the data that you sample to begin with. And mean, we're doing all of these calculations based on the 10 kids that we looked at in school 1, the 10 kids that we looked at in school 2, and the 10 kids that we looked at in school 3. So as we do the in-over test, the number of kids, number of samples, is going to influence the outcome, right? Also, we'll find out later that the quality of the data affects the outcome. So, if, for instance, in school 2, clearly we have a time day. But is this average of 29 because 2 of the kids got a score? And maybe 8 of the other kids did great, but 2 of the kids got a 0. Maybe 2 of the kids just ripped the paper up and threw it in the trash can. So if you have a bunch of outlier data, garbage data out of the samples from school 2, it can cause the average from the samples to look weird and different. But it may not be indicative of a really bad population. What if they had a fire drill that day? Or what if the teacher giving the test was kind of cold or something? Or anything could happen. What if a meteorite came in through the roof and disrupted the classroom and everybody did that? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, yes, you can draw conclusions, but don't just turn your brain off. You have to look at the data. And the in-over test does look at the quality of the data. It does look for outliers to see if any of that's going on. It will automatically adjust the conclusions accordingly. We'll get there when we get there. I just wanted to point that out to you. That's the concept of analysis of variance. Basically, all we're going to be doing is studying these different population means, and we'll do that by methods of sampling. Take a sample from each of the populations, calculate a sample mean, run it through some calculations, and go from there. So I'm going to do those calculations in the next several lessons, and then I'm going to show you how to do it, and you'll see why computers are used, because there's a lot of numbers to crunch. So make sure you understand this, follow that to the next lesson, we'll get started.
وهي هاي 0.3 0.2 زين. إذا أخذنا نموذج وشفنا هاي الأرقام تختلف، نريد نشوف هل الفرق significant أو لا.
Hello, welcome back to statistics. We're talking about analysis of variance. We're going to talk about the basics here. So this lesson and the next several lessons will be going through the components of the calculations, one little piece at a time. So the first piece is called the
وشاف إنه 33 جوزي 26 أصفر 21 أحمر 8 أورنج 7 جرين 5 بلو. هل هذه النسب
this piece to understand
تطابق ويا هاي
very,
النسب؟
very simple. Before we get to that, let's look at this problem. What we're going to do is end up solving this problem by hand. You know, in the previous section we talked about school districts and testing. That was great. Taking the brain just because everybody has some experience with grades. But this is a real problem. So below are the ages that females get married in New York, Texas, and Oregon. So you see we have New York here, Texas, and Oregon, and we have some numbers written down here. So these are the ages that girls get married. So in New York, we have one person that got married at 18 years old, one at 19 years old, and so on. So everybody who asked, there's 10 people that we sampled, and 10 people we sampled in Texas, and 10 people that we sampled in Oregon. So this is another example. The population